Hi guys, this is Wenzes. Thank you for tuning in. And now I want to talk to you about one-sided intimacy and why actually this kind of intimacy is a fear of intimacy. Like there's this video that's one of like my most popular ones, which is called One-Sided Intimacy, and you can check it out. And there I talk about how especially INFJs tend to get into situations where there is a one-sided intimacy, where you feel like you know that person, but that person is not really connecting back with you. And we always get to this conclusion that that other person is just scared of intimacy. They don't want to connect with you. There's some kind of problem and fear with them. And I think this video has helped me a lot, and has helped a lot of people from like the comments and so on to understand what was really going on, and to give people like kind of like the push they needed to change their life and get out of those situations, because those are the typical reasons for like codependency and narcissistic relationships and all those things that make us unhappy and get us into depressive modes, and just like kind of like it sucks the life out of us. But what I haven't really touched upon is that this kind of like decision to get into situations like this, which are one-sided intimacies, are a huge sign for fear of intimacy itself. One of the reasons why people say people are scared of intimacy is because you don't know who you are. You're scared of losing yourself and so on. So if you're having a one-sided intimacy situation where you're the one who wants to get close to that person and that person is pushing you back, that's in a lot of ways something we choose because, like subconsciously of course, because it's not that dangerous. If that person doesn't want to connect with you, there's no way you could lose yourself. You know who you are because that person is actually putting a boundary there. There's a boundary of saying, I don't want to connect with you, so you know exactly who you are. You know, I have had situations where in my whole life, starting off as a child and like my first crushes with 12 and like all those kind of situations, and it's always been the same pattern when I didn't like get into like a real relationship. But when it didn't work out, it was always something that we connected and then I just let go. Like it was like I was able to create like this sudden connection with people, but in a lot of ways it was me giving them what they wanted, not really who I was. And then I just like cut off. I just like said, well, okay, talk to you whenever. And then people got really upset with me, and then I came crawling back and thinking, why don't you like me? Like, what have I done? And so on. And not realizing what's really going on, that I personally didn't want to connect with that person, because just because I'm there doesn't mean I'm connecting. Because the more you connect with somebody, the more it's important that you know who you are. Like more and more I've like realized in my life that I'm able to have closer relationships, especially with men. Like just platonic, friendly relationships are so much more genuine than they used to be. There was always this thing, I cannot get too close to this person because that person might think I like them, and then I have a problem. Or we meet, but I didn't even know what was going on. But I know, like, looking back at it, how, like, I didn't want people to know who I really was, what I value. Like, let's say those videos here. I can talk to people about this. Like, years ago, I would never have told somebody that those are my interests, or that I like to fight, or that I like to, like, win and conquer things, or that what I really appreciate and what my fears are and what my hopes and aspirations are. Like all those things I didn't really want to share with people. And I think I didn't want to share them because I didn't know what I really was and who I was and what the values are that I personally cherish the most. And so now, they say like you can only connect the dots looking backwards, right? So now looking back at it, I can see that change. And now I have like people with maybe my coworkers, just male friends, but also with like girls, but with men specifically, I think because, there's the other sex. So you have like some kind of like, you can get lost more in the other person. I'm not scared to get lost anymore, and that like to that extent. So I'm much better with this. Like I'm still somebody who has problems with relationships, with intimacy and so on. Like I think it will take a while, but the growth has just been incredible. And the way I'm now able to have like deeper, more authentic relationships with guys, and it just being like completely friendly and trustworthy and all those things, which is the basis of, you know, having a relationship. It all could happen because now when I get close to somebody, I'm not scared of losing myself. And now that I talk about it, it's really not even with guys, like even with friends. I have so much more friends in my life that I didn't allow earlier or years ago because I was too scared of what that would mean to me, how that person's energy would affect me, how me having that person in my life, what that would say about me, like all those things. And of course I didn't sit there and I said, well, I don't want to have this person in my life because, well, how do I look then? Who does that make me? Like, what does it say about me? I didn't have those thoughts. I just thought, stay away from me. Stay away from me. There's always this thing of, like, people just stay away from me. Like, I have friends that I've had my whole life that had, like, those things that said, Wenzes doesn't like people. You know, it was a thing. It was a thing because this is how I acted. I could go and make like this huge connection with people and people would love me because I have learned through all of my obstacles how to create like a great social situation and be present and people liking me. And once they came back, then I just like freaked out. Like, don't come close to me. I don't want to feel your energy and so on. And it has a lot to do with the fact that I didn't have boundaries and knowing who I was. The more you really create a life, and creating a life also means having those things outside of you and being like all those things. The more you create that, the more you can actually say like, yeah, come into my life, because having you in my life doesn't say anything about me. Like, I love that part about you and I want to talk to you about that part. And I'm not scared that I'm going to absorb some energy of you within me that is not good for me or that's not who I am, because guess what? My gates are not open like that. My mental gates are not open for me to absorb everything. And the more you create that, the more things you create in real life that are helping you to create those boundaries that help you understand who you are and what you want to do, the more you're gonna be able to have those meaningful relationships in your life and to have more authentic connections with people. And it's so like counterintuitive at first, but it's the best thing you can do. Stop being a sponge that absorbs everything and that is scared to absorb things because it will mean so much to you. Fill yourself up, as I always say, with having hobbies and having like really physical things in your life that you created, that you chose. That, because guess what? Nobody else is gonna be like you. Nobody. Like, I always thought, well, if I do these things, then I'm gonna be like everybody else. No, you're not. Each one of us has very specific things they are putting out there and they're creating in their life. There's an atmosphere that is just you. And no matter what you do, no matter who you like try to like be like or someone, it will just be an energy. Like, I loved Lil' Kim for the longest time. When I was really down and I needed strength, I loved Lil' Kim. I love how she like did all this crazy stuff. Would anybody in my life would ever say I'm like Lil' Kim? Never. It's just like me having that part of energy in me gave me the strength to be who I like, more of who I am. But it's not that we in any way look alike. Although I thought like once I start doing this, I'm gonna be way too aggressive, way too upfront, way too no. This is exactly where I wanted to be and where I needed to be. And so all those things really play a huge role in that. And yeah, so I if you want to have like more understanding of why you do certain things and so on, what you're scared of, because there's always this scarcity, like being scared that comes with it. Make sure that you develop all those things. Make sure that you like really figure out what is it you like. And you need to just like let it go, like let it flow, not have that many people around you to really figure out, well, I like actually this kind of music, or I like actually this kind of material, and I like this kind of movies and so on. And really figure that out and really be okay with presenting that, knowing that people will judge you for it and it will be okay. Because this is like, there's no perfection in it. This is who you are at this moment, and that in itself is more than enough. So thank you for watching. If you have questions, please yeah, post them below. Thank you for your comments and everything you do. So yeah, like the video if you do, subscribe to the channel, and talk to you soon. Bye.